scriptures, and she was one of the obedient.
Yeah.
359, Surah 359 says that Allah created Isa in the manner that He created Adam. But in Surah 66:12, it's pretty much saying that Allah has begotten a son, that He caused Maryam to conceive by breathing something of His own spirit into her empty womb.
Right. So there's definite contradictions that you've shown here clearly. Brother Sam.
I just want to comment on that.
Exactly.
Yeah, but I want to comment because, again, I'm not trying to disagree with the brother here, but I want to make sure that our arguments are solid. When he says that, and because of chapter 3, verse 59, says that Allah said to Adam, be, and he was, but Jesus was conceived or created in Mary's womb by the Spirit. The same Quran says that Adam became a living being because Allah breathed His Spirit into Adam. So if you go to chapter 15, Surah Al-Hijr, and you read from verses 27 to 29, it says that when Allah commanded the angels that He's going to fashion man and breathe His Spirit into him, and then you bow down to him. So actually the Quran says that Adam came to life by Allah breathing His Spirit into Adam, similarly to Mary getting pregnant by the Spirit being breathed into her. So I don't know if a sharp Muslim would see that as a contradiction. If he's aware of those passages, he can say, no, Adam and Jesus both were made alive by the Spirit, and it was the order of Allah for them to exist. So well, I don't know if that would be that as the convincing argument.
Right.
We can talk about abrogations of contradiction to the Quran, that none of the words of Allah can be changed, but I don't think that's as persuasive.
Okay, all right.
Here's the problem with that.
Yeah.
Here's the problem with that.
Yeah.
Adam didn't have a spirit, see? Adam was just a handful of dust when Allah breathed the Spirit into him. Mary was alive and well, and she already had a spirit, see? And Allah breathed into her womb a spirit.
Of His Spirit, yeah.
Yeah, but when Allah breathed His Spirit into Adam, that wasn't Adam's human spirit.
Yeah.
Allah breathing His Spirit was to animate Adam. In other words,
let me just say...
Just let me comment on that. The Spirit of Allah is the means through which Allah animates and gives life. So the point of the creation of Adam is that Adam became a living soul because the Spirit of Allah made him alive. In a similar way, Mary conceived a life because of the Spirit of Allah. Obviously, their origin is not identical, but I don't see the Quran as saying it's identical. I would disagree on the comparison on other reasons, but that one I don't think is too strong. But go ahead.
Yeah, brother, thank you so much for calling. Do you have a final point before we go to our next caller?
Yes, I do. One more, please. One more.
Go right ahead.
Okay, on this is I find really strange. On Surah 355, Allah said, "O Jesus, I'm going to recall you from your mission and raise you up to myself. I will clean you of those who rejected you and exalt your followers above the unbelievers until the day of resurrection."
That's right.
Allah is pretty much here promising to exalt the Christians, the followers of Jesus, above all other men on earth until the resurrection. If you go to Surah 19, 70, and 71, Allah is promising that all Muslims will go to hell and burn. Surah 19, 70, 70,
71 and 72. Yeah. Surah Al-Maryam, 71.
Certainly we know best who deserves most to be burned therein. There is not a single one of you who shall not pass over it, hell. This absolute decree of your Lord is unavoidable. Then we will deliver those who were pious and leave the wrongdoers therein humbled on their knees. Allah has promised that He will exalt the followers of Jesus above all men on earth until the resurrection. Surah 355. Surah 19, 70, and 71, Allah promises He's going to send all Muslims to hell to burn until He decides that He's going to bring them out.
Yeah, Surah 19, 71, 72, yes.
Thank you, brother. Thank you so much for your call. That's a good point to go out on, and I would like to hear Muslims, maybe Manu next time, comment on that one. Thank you so much, brother, for calling. We only have about 10 minutes left. Why don't we get the next caller real quickly? Sure. Let's take the next caller right now. Welcome, you're on the air with Jesus or Muhammad. Hello, you're on the air.
Hello?
Yes, hello.
Hi.
Hi.
This is Ralph again.
Oh, Ralph. Okay, go ahead, Ralph.
Hey, Ralph. How are you, buddy? How you doing?
All right.
All right. Regarding the Muslim, I agree with you. Muslims always with the sword. You know, I agree with you. But I want you to make sure that you give the audience a differentiation between a sword and the damnation. Either you believe in me or you go for everlasting hell. So what's the difference between the two? Can you explain to me?
Okay, Ralph, the subject tonight, the title of the show is the corruption of the Quran. Do you have anything on that topic?
The Quran and the Bible, they're all corrupted.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, Ralph.
Thank you.
Thanks, man.
Thank you, Ralph. Let's
Appreciate
go to
it.
the next caller. All right, the next caller, welcome. You're on the air with Jesus or Muhammad.
Yeah, Joseph, Sam, and David, it's always a pleasure to talk to you guys. You've done a great job.
Glory to Jesus
God
Christ.
bless you.
I just have a couple of quick points. I don't want to take a lot of your time because I know you got tons of callers.
Hey, what's your name first?
Ahab.
Hey, how you doing, Ahab?
Ahab. Good, good. I hope you're doing good, too. I just want to address a couple of things about Islam. Islam does not only contradict itself within its own writings and authors, it goes on to contradict itself with like civilizations and basic human rights, you know? I just want to say a couple of things. It's in Islam you see miracles that the miracles that so-called prophet had done weren't verified by anybody, and when you see Jesus, the miracles, Jesus, like, no one was able to contradict his miracles, healing of the sick and the blind and giving sight and raising the dead. No one was able to contradict that, and nobody done so.
Right.
You know, that just goes to go on and say, you know what, the miracles of Muhammad when he supposedly cracked the moon, now we know it's wrong. When you go on and you read the Quran and Hadith about eating the feces and then drinking the urine that heals you, and from Muhammad himself, I mean, we know, last time I checked, eating feces is not very good for you, you know?
Well, hey, brother, just because of time's sake, you know, most Muslims will say, or good Muslim apologists will often say, well, the greatest miracle of Islam is the Quran. And I guess the topic of the show is about the corruption of the Quran. And how is the Quran a miracle if, as people have said, even Muslims, the Quran is not perfectly transmitted? And the Quran we have today is, in fact, corrupt. Do you have anything on that topic?
Well, I mean, then God is not perfect. Is that what it's said in Islam? God is not perfect?
What do you mean?
Yeah, well, this would be from the testimony of the Quran is going to be guarded. It's going to be remembered, hafaza. It's going to be perfectly retained. And yet we got Muslims telling us, well, they admit, no, the Quran is not perfectly retained. And yet Muslims are also saying the Quran is the greatest miracle of Muhammad. So, you know, how is the Quran miraculous? You're talking about miracles. As you said, Jesus' miracles were seen by many. His resurrected body was seen living by above 500 men, eyewitnesses. And when that was written in 1 Corinthians by the Apostle Paul, many of those were still alive and could say if that wasn't the case. And yet with Islam, as you pointed out, the miracles are spurious. And the greatest miracle that Muslims claim, the Quran, we have Muslims on our program telling us that it's not miraculous at all in the sense that it is corrupt.
Yeah, so it's basically blind faith. It's the blind leading the blind.
Right.
I just wanna address the Muslims because I have some Muslim friends, and not all Muslims. We're not saying that Muslims are bad. What we are questioning is the holiness and the truth of Quran, and obviously modern day discoveries show that it's wrong.
Right.
So if back then maybe they didn't know any better, but now they are to blame because they cannot prove. I mean, there's nothing to prove that the Quran was inspired by God.
Right.
It preaches hatred, disrespect, and I just want to really quickly, I know it's outside of the point.
Yes, quickly.
I just want to comment about someone that called yesterday and said, you know what, if you cannot kill soldiers, who the hell can you kill?
Right.
I just want to, since he's such an expert in history, I just want to tell him something. The same soldiers that were killed by the most recent killing are the same soldiers that were fighting for Muslims in Bosnia and Kuwait, and they were semi-Muslims. So maybe they should think about that.
Thank you so much, brother, for your call. Thank you. God bless you. Let's see if we can take maybe one, possibly two more callers before the end of the program. I want to welcome the next caller on our program, Jesus or Muhammad. You're